All right, so I get a lot of questions about, like, what do you think? You've been out in Tennessee 2 years. You've been out here 5 years. You've been, like, the progress. Like, what do you think now looking back, right? And I think the kids are such a vital one. Taylor's no problem to get on camera, get her to talk. Mackenzie's a little bit harder, but we happen to be sitting by the fire pit, and I had the camera out here, and I was like, hey, like, just answer some questions for me on camera. And she's like, fine. So I took advantage of it and just asked her some basic questions. So if y'all have been wondering kind of what our kids' point of view is on Tennessee after coming out here for 5 years now. So this is my oldest daughter. She's 19. She is now a freshman in college, but we moved her middle of high school, smack dab when your kid's gonna hate you the most. This is a little bit of feedback from her. I'm going to work on getting a more in-depth podcast, which is exactly why I wanted to rename the podcast to the Tennessee Project, right? Because, as I said, our lives are all a project. Like, we are all a work in progress, right? So this project, we all have different steps to it, and, this is her point of view of how the Tennessee Project is going for her, what she thinks of it. So hopefully this answers some questions and helps out some parents out there or some kids that are struggling, and this will give you a little bit of insight of, someone that pushed back and did not want to leave California in the middle of their high school year and leave all their friends behind, and what they think now, 4 years down the road. Hope it helps someone. Hope it helps someone. So you've been in Tennessee almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
June, what we leave, 15th? Something like that? June 5th, 2019.
It's fastly approaching.
You hated me and the woman sitting next to you. What did you think Tennessee was going to be like?
I don't know. Hillbilly town?
Hillbilly town?
Yeah. Farmers?
Farmers? And is it?
Yeah.
It is hillbilly town and farmers?
Some parts are, but no.
Would you rather us have stayed in California, or are you glad we moved?
I would say wait till I graduated, but then I feel like that would have been harder to make friends, so probably not.
Harder to make friends because you would have been out of high school.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you don't really make as many friends in college.
No.
Like as you do in high school.
Right.
So no, I would have kept it.
Kept it the way it was.
Yeah.
And we transitioned you at a
hard age.
What most would say is not a good time.
No.
Which is probably why you hated us. Because we took you away from your friends. How many of those friends do you still talk to?
I talked to a good handful.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still talk to like Riley and McKenna and them.
Funny enough, Riley ended up moving too.
Yeah, I know, to Utah.
To Utah.
And she's probably one of the people I talk to the most. Still.
Huh. And then obviously if you didn't move, you would not have met your boyfriend.
Yes.
So you would have never found Baylor. Is that weird to think about?
Yeah.
Because how long have you been together with Baylor?
2.5 years.
2.5 years? That's
As
a long
the
time.
other day.
That's
yeah.
a long time. 2.5 years, and you would have never found him had we not come out here.
We would never have a Baylor bear, Benny.
Bryn wouldn't have a boyfriend.
Do you ever see yourself, if you had the opportunity, to move back to California?
No.
No?
No one's over there. I wouldn't leave. And
Well-
go by myself, no.
Well, no, like if you and Baylor went or something.
I mean, I'd go back to visit, but not move there.
Would you raise a family there?
No, it's too expensive.
Too expensive?
Yes. And
You'd-
crowded.
And crowded. You see raising a family here more important? Or a family
Yeah.
would be better off raised out here than in California?
Yeah, for the, what's it called? the quality of life. is
Quality of
better.
life, you think?
Yes. God, I'm sweating by this fire.
Well, because you have a sweatshirt on and you're next to a fire, and it's almost 80 out. How do you think school is out here, grade school, like when you were in high school, compared to California, high school or middle school? Let's say grade-wise, education-wise.
Oh.
Harder, easier?
Oh, it was easier because the classes were smaller. And there's, I mean, how many people did Maribel have? 1,000. Santiago had 4,000.
So teachers gave you more attention
Yeah.
too. So
'Cause
you
there's
were
smaller classroom
you were able
classes.
to get help that you needed,
Yeah, especially like math.
math and stuff. Whereas you would have struggled because you have a class of 40 to
50 at
50.
least.
back in California. So
And
you
here
were
it was like 20.
okay.
But do you think here you did more at the high school than you did your freshman year in California?
Yeah, like socially, where do the? Because I feel like you went to more sporting events out here than I'd ever seen you gone to back there. Football,
yeah,
baseball.
stuff with the school, yeah. Outside of school, I probably did more with like my friends.
Right. They're a little closer to you.
Yeah, we kind of live in the middle of nowhere.
Don't live in the middle of nowhere.
The middle of nowhere.
It's definitely not down the street.
No.
It's down the street from.
Well, now that I have to drive.
Yes,
Now that mom's not taking me.
exactly. You think it's easier to make friends out here than it would be in California?
If you moved to California from Tennessee, do you think you could make friends as easy as you did coming from California?
Oh, if I move from Tennessee to California?
Yeah. How do you think?
No, it's a
people
lot
would be?
harder.
Why is that?
Wait, here or there?
Like if you were
No, it's easier here.
if you were born and raised here and you moved to California
Oh,
at
no.
the same time we moved to you,
No,
it'd be harder to make
a
friends.
lot harder.
Do you think it was easier to make friends for you because you were from California?
Yeah, I was a California girl.
Well, and sports had to play in
Soccer helped a lot.
it, right?
I was in a better spot than Taylor was
Well,
because she didn't have like the team to go straight to.
and you never ate lunch by yourself like Taylor did.
No.
Your
I
sister had a
probably would've
little
left
bit.
school if I sat alone.
I think your sister had a little bit more of a struggle finding friends,
Yeah,
but because you had the sports
that helped a lot.
piece, that helped a lot. And so now, college, you're doing fine out here. You like it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
not as scary.
Well, maybe that's just because I've been at. I don't think it's gonna be that scary though.
What was scary? Just because it's
I don't know. I feel like you talk about college and it's a scary thing.
because it's not like a set pattern. Like your mom makes her lunch, you get dropped off at 8, picked
Yeah.
up at 3.
I mean, I could still make her lunch and drop her off at school if you guys would like me to.
I feel like the pressure of figuring out what you want to do is like the scary part.
Well, and I think that's the hard part that you're sold though too, is that you have to figure it out right now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you wanted to be a kinesiologist at first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That went out the window quickly.
But then once you learned what it all entailed, and it was going to be a lot more than what you thought,
Yeah. A lot
and then
more
you
school.
found a little bit more passion and fun in a talent that you actually have with photography and digital art,
Yeah.
and can apply yourself that way, you know.
I don't think
I feel like I really only want to do kinesiology because, like, yeah, I had experience around it, but I just needed something to do because I didn't have another plan
Right. So it's almost like you were just doing it just to check a
because
box.
I needed to do something.
Right. And how has your experience been at college out here? Just because you're at the community college, Pellissippi, for a year, and then you transferred to Rocky Top to UT. How has community college been out here? Fine?
Yeah. When I first, like, when we figured out that I was going to do my 1 year at Pellissippi, I was like, oh, I'm going to community college. But it was a lot better then.
Because it's not as cool and flashy as
Yeah.
a big school, but you got a feeling of what college was,
Yeah.
that you actually wanted to go to college,
Yeah.
you know, and that you might find a path you want to follow, and now you get to go to UT next year.
Which I do have a lot of people that I know who go to UT.
Right. Well, and I think it's a good path though too for you as a kid. Like, there's no need to jump into a 4-year college if one, you don't want to go to college, or you don't know what you want to do.
That's why I feel like Pellissippi was, because it gave me a year to figure out
what you want to do.
like if this is what, do I want to go to school? Do I want to do photography? Do I want to do kinesiology?
Yep. Well, thanks for a little bit of feedback. Maybe you can help inspire some other kids, realize it's not as bad as they think it is.
Some
And if you
hillbilly
didn't move
kids.
here, you wouldn't have a little Benny bear.
Yeah, it's just what she cares about, is a Benny bear.
She loves her Benny.
We'll get more in depth on a podcast, but that was pretty
yeah,
good.
when I'm not sweating.
Yeah.
by
Well,
fire.
you're wearing a sweatshirt by a fire
Sweet McGee.
in the spring.